this is the GALAX GeForce GTX 1070. Okay, so I'm gonna unbox this and then we'll talk about this card and the 2080 as I'm doing it. So this is from GALAX. I have reviewed their cards before, but I haven't reviewed any of their 10 series cards. So this is my first 10 series card from GALAX, which I'm super excited to unbox and see what we have. Box is pretty nice. I like the plain boxes, I really do. I think the plain boxes are actually sometimes better than just these fancy boxes, which I'm just gonna throw away anyway. But it comes in another plain black box, which is pretty nice. I definitely can't complain about the plain box use there. And let's open her up. So inside we have a user manual, which is completely unused, not gonna use that. Display drivers, not gonna use that. And we have a manual of how to install it. Who the hell reads that either? So we'll throw this to the side. Don't need PCI Express connectors, PCI Express connector. And then we have the card. I'll put this box back. So this is the GALAX card. I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna stop talking because it's gonna be very loud when I open this up. Nicholas, I'm running to the left here as an Acer XR341CK, which is a 3440 by 1440 ultra wide, 75 Hz AMD FreeSync. In the middle, I have an Acer XB270HU, which is Acer 2560 by 1440, 144 Hz G-Sync. And then to the right, I have an Acer XB280HQ 4K G-Sync display in portrait, which is really nice. So here we go. This is actually a sweet as hell looking card. You can see here if I hold it up, that we have a dual fan design, which is really, really nice. It's nice, almost nice and plain looking. It is really slick. We have a dual slot cooler, but keep in mind that it might be a dual slot cooler, but then the back plate you can see here actually extends past the card. And that's fine because it does look sick and it's really, really light as well. This is actually pretty impressive. I'm pretty impressed so far, just by the weight. This is actually quite light as well. And this might not mean much, but when you've got it in your system, it makes this PC lighter for LANs, for moving it around. You know, a video card, even with an extra 50 or 100 grams of weight, can really be felt. So you can see here that it's not too thick at all. It actually comes under the dual slot limit there. And we have a 6 and an 8 pin PCI Express connector. So it does use a bit more power. And it looks like we can expect some LED goodness. As you can see here, there is a massive line all along here. This is all like plastics, I guess, which I'll try get up close on the camera that you can see. So you can see there's plastics there. That will most likely light up. Looks pretty cool. Underneath, you can tell that the heatsink extends here, so the VRAMs are nice and they're going to be kept nice and cool here. And we have a massive array of heatsinks all along here, which will keep the card or the GPU 102 GPU nice and cool. And those two fans should keep the card cool without a problem as well. On the back, we have the typical display connectivity that we have with the rest of the GTX 10 series. We have 3 DisplayPort connectors, a DVI in case you do have a monitor from 1992, and that was a joke there, guys, and a HDMI 2.0 port for 4K 60. You can do SLI, of course, with the GTX 1070, so we have an SLI connector just here. Not that you can do more than 2 SLI, but 2 SLI with these cards would be pretty crazy. We have some GeForce GTX branding up here, which I actually kind of love because it reminds me of like a reference card design, right? So that's pretty cool to actually have GeForce GTX branding because it looks like a Founders Edition card. And we have, I kind of like this, the back plate of this card. It's kind of plain, and I like that GALAX hasn't gone overboard with like GALAX branding all over the place. Like they could have easily have had placed some branding up here, but we don't have that, which is really strange. You know, the only branding that we have from GALAX is on the 2 fans. That's it. That's actually, I don't think I've actually seen that before, where the company hasn't gone crazy on branding, and I kind of love that. I kind of love the fact that they've just released a kind of like a plain looking card. Instead of going, you know what, guys, we're going to release this crazy card that looks that looks awesome and has great performance, but we're gonna put our branding everywhere, and we're gonna make sure that you know it's GALAX. We're gonna make sure that you know. But this is just a card that you want a simple look. You don't want to go for a crazy card that has like so much branding and lights and bling and power connectors. This is actually a really nice looking card. I'm actually pretty impressed with just the first impressions. And a single 6-pin and 8-pin should mean we should get some cool overclocking out of it. And then the backplate. I think the backplate is cool as well with the, again, like I said just now, the lack of branding. The design is nice. It's not too thick. Again, it's pretty light. I'm excited. And there's not much that comes in the box. You know, like with other boxes, you get a bunch of crazy stuff where this is just the card, and that's what we want. We don't want to have, you know, a million things running on the card. We don't want to have that. We don't want to have a bunch of like lights going all over the place. At least the lights from here, if you're looking at it from the front, you're actually not going to see the LEDs. Obviously, when it's installed into the system, that's when the LEDs come into play, which is actually pretty cool because you're going to see the LEDs blasting out this way and then out to the right. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what this thing can do. Again, I don't care about the performance because we know that the GTX 1070 is going to be a fast card. We know I'm going to be able to run every game out right now, 1080p, 1440 without a problem, and even 4K without a problem as well, as long as you adjust some details. And by not a problem, my minimum for games is 60 frames a second. So if I can't get 60 frames a second, I will knock down the quality of the game or the in-game visual settings. I never run AA because I want as many frames per second. But this could be quite a good card. Yong asked, what is the price? So the EXOC Sniper comes in both a GTX 1070 and GTX 1080, which you can see here on my screen right now. And the GTX 1070 is $429 in stock right now. So $429, not too bad at all. But I need to find out the spec. So this is the GALAX GTX 1070. This is the EXOC Sniper Extreme Overclocked Edition. So we're looking at a base clock of 1594 and a boost clock of 1784. So not too bad at all. The usual 8 gig of RAM, GDDR5 at 8 gig. So we have 256 gigabytes a second of memory bandwidth. Yes, this is USD for the price there. So $429 USD. And it seems pretty nice so far. Again, this is more of a plain card. GALAX aren't going crazy with this. They do have the Hall of Fame, or the Hoth series cards, which I will be getting soon. As soon as I've done this, I'm going to be reaching out, or I'm going to get this review done next week. And then I'm going to be showing GALAX what I've done, and then will say to them, okay, now it's time for the HOF cards, and send those over.